Hello, this is homework number 8, question number 2. Hopefully you can see it right in front of you. It says, use TI Smart View to demonstrate how to use Gaussian elimination to solve. And then there's a system of equations involving 3x1 minus x2 equals 2 and x1 plus 2x2 equals 10. I was able to write this out in my own handwriting as a system of equations. And what I'm going to use to solve it is the TI 84 calculator. Let me go ahead and show you where to begin. So the first thing you want to do with the TI 84 calculator is you want to go into the matrix menu. The matrix menu, click on second, and then you'll see the word matrix right here, and click on matrix, and now we're in the matrix menu. To begin your matrix, you want to scroll over to the right and click edit. I'm going to use the first one here, matrix A, and the first thing that you're going to tell it to do is that you want a 2 by 3 matrix. And I do have the 2 by 3 matrix already entered right here. And let's double check with homework 8 to make sure that I got it right. 3, -1, 2 is the first row. 3, -1, 2. And the second row is 1, 2, 10. 1, 2, 10. Okay, at least I'm off on the correct foot. All right, let's clear that out by clicking second and then quit. All right, let me delete a bunch of these. Okay, to begin with, I want to really sort of look at matrix A. Here's how I can look at matrix A. Second matrix, and then just click 1, and it pops up right there, and I'm going to hit enter so I can get a good look at it. There it is. Like I said, it is what it should be. I entered it correctly. Let me do the Gaussian elimination, or another word for it is Gauss-Jordan elimination. I have a plan of how I'm going to do this written out on paper. And I think it begins with that bottom row right there, where I see a 1 in that bottom left-hand corner. And I'm thinking, maybe I can make this work for me. So I'm going to multiply that bottom row by -3. All right, here I go. So second matrix, and I am going to use math. So I'm scrolling over to the right here to choose math. Instead of going through these 9 options, I'm going to go up to the letter options, A, B, C, D, E, F. And like I said, I want to multiply that row. So I'm going to choose option E. And I'm going to multiply that bottom row by -3. So I'm going to click -3, comma. At this point in time, I can enter the name of the matrix, which is A. And there it is. And comma again. And now I'm going to mention row 2 and close my parentheses. This says that I'm multiplying -3 times matrix A row 2. Let's see if it works. Okay, a little bit frightening with that -30, but it is correct. All right, what I would like to do now is add those 2 rows together and put the sum of those 2 rows in the bottom row, row 2. And the reason that I want to do that is because if I add 3 and -3, I'll get 0 in that corner. And that's what I want for my, and now I forget the right word. That's what I want for my reduced row echelon form. All right, so here I go. Back to the matrix menu, second matrix, and I'm going to do math. So let me scroll up and look for row addition, which is D, letter D. Here I go. All right, I'm going to do row addition. And this time I'm not going to use, or I'm not going to name matrix A again. I want to use what's right in front of me. So I'm going to call that answer. And everybody knows you just click second and then down here, answer, comma. And I'm going to be careful which order I choose. We all know that addition is commutative, but I want this to land in the second row. So I'm going to mention that twice. I'm going to mention that last. I'm adding together row 1, comma, and row 2. And since I mentioned row 2 last, the result will end up in row 2. All right, here we go. Okay, and I'm feeling really, really, really happy about the 0. Looks good. All right, one little trick that you might notice is that -7 and -28, common factor. And then I'll have a 1 right where I need it. So I'm actually thinking to myself that I want to divide by -7, but of course, I'm really going to multiply by -1/7. So second matrix, I'm going to do some math. Let me scroll up to matrix multiplication here, or to multiplying a row. Here I go. Okay, I'm going to multiply by -1/7. 1 divided by 7. There it is. That's what I'm going to multiply by. Let's put in a comma. What matrix? Well, I want to use the answer, the one that's closest to the bottom right there. So it's going to address this particular matrix, and it's going to multiply, and I'm going to tell you which row, the second row by -1/7. Let's see if it works. Okay, and now I'm super happy because I have 0, 1 in the bottom row, which is exactly what I need. Also, that 0, 1 is going to be really helpful in getting the top row to be 1, 0, which is what I need. So I'm going to add together the 2 rows, and this time I'm going to make the answer, or the sum of the 2 rows, land on the top row. Here I go. Second matrix. I'm going to do some math. Of course, I'm doing row addition right there, letter D. And first, I'm going to mention the name of the matrix, or reference the matrix. Really, I want the answer, the one that's closest to the bottom right there. So second answer. And again, I'm going to be careful which row to say last. That's where I want it to end. So I'm going to start with the second row, add it to the first row, and since I mentioned the first row at the end of the parentheses right there, it's going to put the sum of the 2 rows up in the first row. Let's see if it works. Okay, so I'm feeling very good about this. I'm almost done. Notice that there's that common factor up in the top row, 3 and 6. It got me thinking. I want that first number to be a 1, not a 3. So I'm going to divide, I'm going to multiply. Here I go. Second matrix. I'm going to do some math, and I'm going to scroll up to row multiplication. There it is. Okay, and again, I have to mention that I'm multiplying by 1/3. That's 1 divided by 3. Then I reference the answer, the closest one, the one at the bottom right there. Second answer. And then, of course, we want to multiply row 1 by 1/3. Okay, here we go. All right, this is reduced row echelon form, I think. Yep. And what this shows us is the values of x1 and x2. From the top row, the value of x1 is 2. From the bottom row, the value of x2 is 4. And real quick, let's look at our homework. X1 is 2, so that would be 6 minus x2 is 4. Yup. X1 is 2 plus 2 times 4, 8. Yup, looks like it worked. So that is how to use Gaussian elimination, or Gauss-Jordan elimination, to solve a system of equations using a TI-84 calculator. Thank you.